you so much for staying with us here on iBrand Daybreak. Moving on to the focus for today. There's a popular saying in Africa, among African families, and it says that child upbringing has transcended ages. This saying has transcended ages, is that it takes a village to raise a child. Put differently, a child is owned by all. Although this has been interpreted to mean that raising a child is the responsibility of all members of a community, it has also become a huge weight on the backs of African children who feel indebted to the community, whom joined hands with their immediate family, of course, to raise them. Some even go over and beyond to make sure that in success or squalor, they provide immense support, not just to their nuclear family, but also to the extended families and beyond. And of course, joining us to have this conversation this morning is Mr. Daniel. Hi, Daniel. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so let's start this way. It's called the black tax. Yeah. So you're expected to do some handouts to your nephews and nieces, your younger ones. People that you grew up with, childhood friends, expect some level of support or help from you, especially when you're the one who's been able to break the glass ceiling and, you know, you seem to be making it. Unfortunately, nobody takes time to actually understand your situation financially or, you know, affluence-wise. But they help you to count your money and then decide that it should be enough to reach everybody. The black tax. Somebody sang a song sometime, I think 4 or 5 years ago, and he said, phone they ring, na family they call. If no be bill, na money or something, you understand? And we had Michelobi, the great Michelobi, come out some time ago to complain, you know, about the sense of entitlement that family members have. Nobody actually asks you how you're faring. But they assume that, I mean, you're Michelobi, you should be able to share some of that euros and pounds to the rest of the family. How do you react to this black tax as it is in the African setting?
Okay, you know, black tax, it's the main of it, you see, there's a responsibility that people have been given when we are growing up. It's normal. Even some persons in some ethnic tribes that I won't mention will be like, I'm not also ethnic tribe. You already understand responsibility and who we are in position. So the fact of it is, it mostly affects Africa because we grow up in a communal systems, you see. When we're growing up, we grow up among ourselves. Mommy, daddy, brothers, everybody grew up together. So everybody did help everybody. So that's what causes it. So that sense of responsibility is there. And you know, with the way age and time is changing, so we're not changing with it. That's when you now maybe break the financial ceiling. You are looking to empower. Then they look at it that it is your responsibility now to take care because you're at that position. And it has adverse effects, you know, mentally, socially, because someone just calls you and in your mind, even though it is not, you already think that, okay, this person, it won't be me. Now it's so the thing really affects everybody.
Yeah.
So in every family, they just put it in your mind from a very young age. That, okay, if your brother is so, you are going to help him. Some parents won't tell you that, I'm sending you to school, not because of I want you to make it in life. It's so when you have made it in life, you will help your brother. Yeah. That one to help the next one. So the thing is really affecting the way our community is growing. So you see some people just believe, especially they even mostly create the example analogy in our Hollywood movies. You see that? So persons will just say, my brother is not a chief. Me, I'm not working. Where is he a chief for? Will just be taking care of me like that. So the adverse effect is really as on our community is something that we cannot even define. That's what I feel about that.
Okay, so while we understand that our fathers that created this system had the good of everybody in mind, right? It was supposed to be positive. Where I'm from, we have a system that works. So you learn a handwork, and you serve your master for a couple of years, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, depending on the agreement. And your master settles you. It is your responsibility to go back to the village and get 1 or 2 or 3 other boys that will come with you and serve, and you will settle them, and it continues. That's very positive, yeah? That is just one example. I'm sure that other tribes have something like that that works for them, but in their own way. where I'm going to with this is, you just made an example of, you know, someone that his brother becomes a chief and he decides not to work. It creates a thin line between being communal, sharing love, and, you know, that community spirit that we all have, and then exploitation. How do you differentiate what is and what is not? Because the expectation is there. Even you, that the expectation is on you. You already know that you owe this to your family, but how do you now know when your family has moved from, you know, being in that position to exploiting you? Because you will agree with me that we have had uncles and aunties who have been exploited, and it's not nice. We must call it what it is. It's not.
Yeah, you see, it's something like I said. We have the sense of that responsibility. When you start to notice the exploitation is when you try to establish the person and the person doesn't want to stand. See, some people, when you try to hold them to work, they just want you to continually holding them. They won't leave your hand and want to work by themselves. It's then you know that exploitation comes in. And see, that's when you start seeing different things happening. So when, like in the movies, most times that's how they do it. You say, you know, he has wife now. It's his wife that is giving him these ideas. It's the husband that is giving him this kind of ideas. But the real truth is that this person has reached the level where he can't take it anymore. So it's just like, all these things I'm doing, I'm not doing it for yourself. I have a family, I have my own life, I have my own situations to face. You know, life is not all about the money that we see to it. You just call your brother, and the next thing he knows that you just want to ask him money. You cannot just like call him to say, boss, I just want to check up on you, you know, how are you doing, how is life treating you, something. The next thing you're calling, my school fees, my book, my this. And you know, it's going to get stressed. It is just normal.
Yeah.
So what I think that we should do is that, like the example you gave, that is how it is. That is communal living. But now we've gone into a taxation system or a policy that once you get this certain amount of money, you just give this, and that. And it's most common to firstborn children. You know, they are the ones that suffer the most.
That's a whole nother kettle of fish that will eventually get to unfold.
They are the ones that suffer the most, especially when they are the first to taste success. They just believe. You see, I have some certain friends that will be like, me once if I get brother where I did take care of, I'll be like, it's your parent, I did not doing anything.
Exactly.
What do you mean that you have? When you get to some certain age that you start making money, I meant to use the money to take care of yourself and secure your future. Not to be taking care of your younger brother. So, but you know, different understanding is what we have.
So that understanding is what is the next thing I would want us to talk about. Like I mentioned in my earlier submission, you know, I started with things that our fathers that started this system had the good of everybody in mind. And we're Africans, we're not lazy people. An average African person is a hard worker. You understand? Is it that you are a fisherman, or you are a farmer, or you have handwork, you are a smith, either metalsmith, goldsmith, or something, or you're a miner. There is always something that every community is known for. In essence, we they work, right? And when these systems were created, it is for each brother to support the other brother in their work. So you must be doing something first before you start thinking like you deserve that type of support from your firstborn son, or, you know, for your children, or you as a second child or third child from your older brother or your older sister. What do you have in your hand? So how did we miss it? Who is it that we did not pass down this information correctly? Right? Because you have people who say, my brother is a judge, so I don't need to work. And it's a sense of entitlement, you know, that understanding. And I'm saying this because you said we all have different understanding. But if this system, if we call it a communal system that we all grew up with, then we should better understand how it works. So who passed down this information wrong? How did we get it wrong? From what point did we start getting it wrong?
I can't pinpoint who did pass the information wrong, but what I do believe, or I think was the misconception there was, you know, the age gap between children. When in Africa we started having age gap between children like 8-9 years. So those that were older with those 9-10 years, you saw the younger sibling as a child.
So you
that
keep seeing them
sense
as a
of
childhood
do that. And that person keeps seeing himself too as a child. They just believe that if I want to collect financial freedom, it will be like I'm rebelling against my older brother. So that is the side. That's what started the sense of entitlement. So you see, in our family, sorry to just make an analogy,
Yes,
we are not
please.
really older than ourselves so much. So my own immediate elder brother is just like 2 years older than me. So I cannot expect anything because in everything, in education, is just 2 years away. So it means after education, if he starts working, it's just 2 years away. So I cannot expect anything more than what he can give from him. So the best he can do is that, okay, this is what I'm doing. How can you support me? Okay, I have 50,000. I want to start a business of 80,000. How much are you willing to support? And say, okay, since it's 80,000, I'll start the business. I can support you with 100,000. So you have something to fall back on when you make that mistake. You see, so that is where we miss this. People stop putting things in their hand because some people were treating them like children, and they were just so comfortable with being children. Everybody wants to be a child. You know, that's when I said adulthood and scam is something. I be childhood and scam.
Is it really scam?
Adulthood. Depends on the person. For me, I don't see it as scam, you know, because of the way I grew up. I don't like, maybe it's my person, I don't like being told what to do. You know, when we're young, especially when you have parents that are, you know, somehow financially stable. They can't, you can't wear this dress. Are you the one buying it? You can't dress like this, you can't do this. So when I started growing up, I started making decisions for myself. I study what I want to study because that is what I want to study now. Because I can tell my daddy, maybe you say study this. I'm not studying this, I have money to pay my school fees now. This is what I want. You can't tell me, the best you can do is advisement. So for me, I don't think it's a scam.
Okay, let's look at the social effects this situation that we're in has had. For something that was created initially, you know, originally to grow the community, to grow the society, you know, you see there are some societies where it still works properly. So you see someone come home from NYSC and he receives a communal welcome because everybody contributed monies to pay their school fees. And you see this person begin to teach children in his or her community, gather them, teach them nursery rhymes and basic arithmetics and all, right? And it continues to grow that way. Beautiful. I like that. However, we are now in a society that has grown. It's not as laid back as it used to be. What we call, what is it called? Development has caught up with us. Good. So when that communal living is not there anymore per se, it's not exactly as it used to be, but it is still there because you have uncles that are living abroad that you expect should be sending you dollars and pounds, but they are not. So you just have beef for them in your mind. Do you think this mindset, you know, that entitlement mindset, because I believe if you have the mindset originally as it was set and you understand it, it's not entitlement, it's communal living. But that entitlement mindset that has crept in, you think it has held us back to a great extent, do you?
Yeah, I think it has held us back to a great extent. Like you said, you have an uncle and you just believe that at the end of the month, at least he should send me something. You see, as at that moment you start thinking like that, you have closed doors of opportunities to yourself. So your uncle just feels through that he's not doing anything. I don't deserve to send him anything. Some people just believe that, it's my birthday, or everybody in the family is supposed to send me something apart from the birthday wishes and gifts that I will get. Yeah. It's a very wrong way to think. A very, very wrong way to think. So people don't want to stand up for themselves. They want people to always do that for them because they've gotten too comfortable with it, you see. So the thing about the communal living, the way it is that you are meant to go back and have an effect on your community. It doesn't now boil down to what financial responsibility. That is where we miss it. We just believe that because you are rich, you should be financially responsible to your community. You don't look at whether you want to build a hospital, build school, start something, give the knowledge or give a teaching on how you grew your finance. You just believe that when you come, it's a senator now, you should just be sharing money on the street. You take your own. The next 2 months it comes again. So somehow the social effect it has had is that one used to bear someone down. Like mentally, physically, emotionally. So it used to cause someone should be covetous. Just because you want to satisfy the longing of someone, you want to keep what is not yours. So the thing has different effects that it has had on our society.
About the effect it is having. You know, in one of your submissions, you mentioned how that firstborn children are mostly affected by this system that even to a good extent, unconsciously now run. You know, you think you've come to a level of exposure and development, and some local homemade things don't hold you back anymore, but they do. So as a firstborn child, if the parents fall sick, it is on your shoulders. Your siblings are having issues at school, it is on your shoulders. Some people start attending PTA meetings from their own secondary school. They'll go to their siblings primary or nursery or even secondary school still to represent the family. And, you know, these burdens on the young child. So we have children who do not have childhoods, you know, children who are not able to be children. And it affects them as they are growing up. So this person already is thinking, by the time I leave this house, if you not see me again, make my hand no come down. You know, these issues are a thing. And because we live in a society that does not pay attention to mental health, people are in serious problems. Last month, June, because we're already in July, June was International Month for Men's Mental Health. So many conversations went on in June except men's mental health. You understand? And for the kind of systems that we run as Africans, you know that men, the male folk, are, it's a very, very male-dominated system. These same people that we are giving all that authority to rule, nobody's caring about how their mind works. So you see, there is a lot of dysfunction in the society. I'm just, you know, buttressing on your point. So as we round up, how do we begin to get this right? You know, this black tax thing is a thing. You mentioned how that somebody that's never called you for once ever will just pick up their phone and call you and expect that money must fall out. You've never called this person to check up on them, not even 100 naira airtime to support the business, nothing. But because it's your older brother or your older sister or your uncle that works with NNPC, money must fall out. How do we start getting it right?
What I believe is that we need to start sensitizing and teaching ourselves that financial stability comes by personal empowerment. So once you start empowering people, empowerment has nothing to do with giving someone money. So you have a younger brother or a younger sister, you have a cousin or someone, you ask them, sit them down, talk to them. Their ideas, you help them bet it. Because you've now grown financially to understand how to help someone create financial wealth. So I think that is the first step we can take to start empowering ourselves. So and you see, some people are getting it right. You meet some certain persons, when you talk to them, they don't look at how they want to give you money. They look at what they have that they can invest in you to help you create something that you need. So I think that is the first solution.
Okay. And that also, I'm sorry to use this example, but one of the presidential candidates from last year's presidential election said he made a give shishi. And this is somebody that I had worked for at some point. And you would understand that he won't give you money actually, but you have to have an idea. If you have an idea that is workable, he will give you money to birth that idea. There was a young lady he gave money sometime last year for her bakery and stuff. That's the kind of thing he does. And I feel like that is where we get it wrong. You think you're now an odogu, you'll be giving people money. They will eat it and come back the next day to collect another one. Yep. But if somebody has an idea for a fish farm or a pig farm or something, give them money to support that and keep them accountable. You know, because accountability is a thing. It's another kettle of fish. If we start opening it, even that's your big brother that is giving the money, is he accountable? To a good extent, you know, these are questions that we need to ask, but unfortunately our time is up. Thank you so much, Daniel, for coming to the studio. We appreciate your time.